Hey everyone, it's Dellow here, and I have another project to share from my pattern paper series. This week we're going into the 3 dimensions and we're going to make a cute DIY pattern paper bird. As always, all the supplies needed for this project are below the video. I love taking my art into 3 dimensions from time to time, and this project is a super easy way to do that. Now, if you think back to a couple of weeks or so ago, I shared some of my current favourite ways to decorate paper in my 5 fun DIY pattern paper techniques blog post. And if you missed that blog post, then there is a link in this video or below it in the show more section. So come along and have a look. Also, share some of your favourite ways currently to make pattern paper. So before I get started on making the 3D birds, I'm just going to make a new batch of decorated papers as I used the last batch up. And I'm using the techniques I talked about in my blog post. So I've got some brayering going on with gouache. I'm also using inks, acrylic inks, and I'm layering up with some pen work as well. But I've also used a bit of stencil printing, and this is where you colour the stencil, then press it onto the paper. And I'm using some Punchinella for this as well. Once I have a new batch of papers and they are dry, it's time to make the birds. So I'm going to use the same bird design that I used for my DIY pattern paper bird art journal page video. And if you want to see how I came up with that design and how I made the templates for these birds, then do watch that video. And there's a link to it here on this video and also below in the show more section. For this bird design, there are 2 templates, one's for the body and one for the wings. For each bird that you make, you'll need 2 body pieces and 2 wings. So draw around the template on the back of your patterned paper, then flip the template over and draw around it again, then cut out all the pieces, and do this for both the body and the wings. So you'll end up with a back and a front for each bird. Next, match up your body pieces by holding the wrong sides together and lightly trim any large areas that don't match. You don't need to over trim at this point because we'll trim a bit further once we've glued them together. Just do the bodies and leave the wings as they are. Once you are happy with your bird pieces, it's time to make some legs. I'm using a craft wire for this. It's approximately 3/4 millimeter in diameter or thereabouts. I'm thinking it's about a gauge 21 or 20, so it's thick enough to be robust and stand up, but not so thick that you can't bend it easily. Decide how long you want the legs to be. The top of the wire is going to sit inside the body of the bird, so take this into account and make the legs just that little bit longer than you want them to be when you're finished. Bend the wire into an L shape, then fold the wire back on itself after approximately 1.5 centimeters and make it into a T shape. Fold the wire again until you are back at the center of the T shape, then bend it at right angles to make the 3rd toe. Each toe is approximately the same size. I've done my measuring by eye. You can use a ruler if you prefer, and all of them are in the same plane so that the bird can stand. Wrap the wire around the base of the foot and then bring it up the leg again, then cut it off at the top. The wire frame is quite loose, so to make it more sturdy, twist each of the toes and the leg to tighten the frame. I've gone for a really simple form of wire work for my birds, but you could always make the legs more delicate looking with some more careful and intricate wire work if you preferred. Repeat for the 2nd leg, and this time you can use your 1st leg as a guide to the sizing for the toes. Next we will work on the body, and we want to add a bit of dimension to the body, so start by gluing the top and a little bit down the front and the back of the body, but keep the bottom part unglued. Now, this is a good time to add your beak. Don't do as I did and completely forget to add the beak and then have to do it afterwards, and I'll show you that in a minute. Once you've glued the body and beak in place, glue the wings in place too, and again, only put glue along the top edge of the wing, and do this for both sides. Once the glue is dried, trim any bits that you don't want. Now is the time to neaten the edges of your bird. And it's around about here that I realise that I forgot my beak. So I very carefully teased the 2 halves of the bird apart with a craft knife to make a slot for the beak. And if you forgot yours too, then try that. To make the beak, I folded a strip of yellow paper in half and trimmed it to a point. As it's very small, a pair of tweezers is very useful for holding it. I could then glue it in place in the slot I had made. Of course, if you put it on the bird before gluing the body pieces together, you can glue it in place on the back of one of the body pieces, so it's there ready for when you glue the pieces together. Next, add some eyes on both sides using a black paint pen, and when the paint is dried, use a white paint pen to add some highlights. The paper bird is looking a little bit like a finger puppet now with that open lower half. So to give it some permanent dimension and to attach your legs, we are going to first make a comb shape from spare pieces of paper to fit inside the bird. The cone will hold the sides apart to give that more dimensional look. So glue the ends of the cone together, and when that's stable, add glue around the outside of the top of the cone and slip it inside the bird. Push gently to the top of the centre of the body. To give that some time to dry, take the 2 wire legs, make sure that both feet are parallel to each other, then twist the tops together. Then you'll need to just straighten out the legs a little bit and arrange the toes as you need. Finally, fill the top of the inside of the cone with glue and sit the bird on the legs. Arrange the bird how you want it to look and let it dry. I hope you enjoyed these paper birds and have fun with this technique. If you do make something using this technique, then please do tag me. I always love to see what you do. And if you have any questions, just leave them below. If you liked my video, then please do click like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.